This is my X-Maxx. This truck is far from stock. I have an upgraded motor, upgraded ESC, I have the wide kit on it, I've got upgraded shocks, braces, servo, steering system, and a lot of other bits and pieces. Because of this, this truck weighs significantly more than the stock one does. The stock truck is designed to flex in crashes, which is great. However, once you start adding a lot of weight to it, that flex can get excessive and you can start breaking things as well as bending drive shafts. To address this, M2C has come up with this really awesome brace system that goes on the bottom side of the chassis and ties the front and the rear of the chassis together, helping prevent excessive flex. Now this brace is flexible, so it'll still allow some flex to the chassis, it just prevents excessive flex, which can cause things to break. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install this, and then we're going to take this truck out and bash it hard and see how it holds up. Before we get into that, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to get notified for future videos. We're going to be doing a lot more modification videos of this X-Maxx and other trucks. Also, check out my review of this 35 kg servo. I'm doing a giveaway in that review where you can win one of these yourself. It's actually a pretty good servo. All right, let's get this truck flipped over and get the installation started. In the package, we get the brace itself, which goes right here. We get these little backing plates that go on the front and rear of the truck underneath the skid plates. And then we get a bag with some hardware and 2 drill bits. First thing we do is take these front and rear skid plates off. All right, we got all the screws out of the front and rear skid plates. So we're gonna be starting on the rear skid plate here. Go ahead and pull this off. And we're gonna take the rear mounting plate, slide it into the rear skid plate. It does say in the instructions that you can use shoe goo for this. I'm not sure it's gonna be necessary. This is a very tight fit. So I'm just going to push that all the way down in there. And then I'm going to take the 1/8 inch drill bit, which is the smaller drill bit, and carefully drill through all 4 of these holes that have the threads in them. There are 2 additional holes here that aren't shown in the instructions. I'm not sure why they're there, but they won't be used at this time. Now when you do this, you want to be careful because you don't want to hit the threads in the aluminum mount, because if you chew those up, then that's going to cause problems. So I'm just going to go through here and all 4 of these holes off camera, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, we got those 4 holes drilled. Now the instructions say to go ahead and remove this, and then using the larger drill bit, drill these holes out to that larger drill bit size. So I'm gonna do that now. Okay, that's all 4 of these holes drilled. Now we're gonna take this block and put it back in, again with this angle piece facing this way. And like I said, mine's a really tight fit, so I'm not gonna use any glue on this end at least. And those holes line up perfectly. Now we're gonna put this back in the truck and put the screws back in. Once those are back in, we're going to take the brace and we're going to line it up and put the 4 screws in that are included with the brace. Put these in, tighten them up. All right, now we've got those tightened down. Now we're going to move to the front of the truck. All right, next we're going to make sure that the brace is centered in the front and push down on it. It kind of sticks up a little bit here. We're going to hold it down, and then using the larger of the 2 drill bits, we're going to drill through all 4 holes in the front skid plate. Now the instructions say to drill 1 hole, put 1 screw in, and then drill the other 3 holes. I was pretty confident I could hold this still and drill 4 holes, so I just went ahead and drilled them all at once. If you don't think you can hold it still, go ahead and do that. Drill 1 hole, put your screw in, then drill the other 3 holes. Next step, we take the front skid plate off, and we're going to put the front block in, lining up those holes. Now this doesn't really have anything to hold it in, so I am going to put a little bit of shoe goo between this and here, so that it stays put. All right, got that glued in, and as you can see, the holes line up pretty much perfectly. Next thing we're gonna do is take this brace back off, and then we're going to install the brace on the front skid first, using blue Loctite to install the screws. All right, got these started with some blue Loctite on them. Let's go ahead and tighten them down. Now I'm using power tools to do this. It's not recommended that you do that. I have a lot of experience with power tools and a lot of experience with this particular power tool, and I know how tight it makes things, so I'm confident that I'm not going to strip these out, but you really should be doing this with hand tools. Okay, so we've got that mounted on the front skid plate, and then we install the front skid plate with the brace installed on it, which should line these back holes up, and then we just install the rear screws with a little bit of Loctite. Those are nice and tight, and that's pretty much the install. Finish putting your skid plate screws back in, put the bumper screws back in on the top, and you're done. Now in the future, because we've got the front glued in and the rear is jammed in really tight, or glued in depending on how your application was, you won't have to take the skid plates off to take this center brace out in order to access your drive shaft or anything like that. All right guys, I'm gonna finish putting this thing together, and then we're gonna take it out and give it a rip. Alright guys, I've got a few packs through this M2C chassis brace now, and so far everything's working great. Haven't had any issues with it. So far I'm really happy with it. If you guys are doing hard bashing, I would recommend picking one of these things up. Alright guys, we'll see you next time.